Oh, hey, didn't see you there. You want to go, shoot up some steroids? Maybe work out a little bit afterwards, get hot, steamy, maybe go grab a 8 a.m. milkshake at your local diner?
That's what I thought.
Well, that was really stupid, honey.
I'll never fall in love, okay?
And today we have Love Lies Bleeding. Gotta admit, it's one of the more enticing names so far for the 2024 film cinematic circuit. The newest film in the produced by A24 filmography that just, man, they got all the steam they need. A24 just they're cranking them out. From the top down, as always. Directed by a Rose Glass. Now, this is actually only her second feature. Her first one that she did Saint Maud, which I'm always a fan of. Like creepy, off-putting religious horror, especially showing the dangers of conviction and whatnot. I heard that it's a rough watch, but it's a good movie, so it seems like she's 2 for 2 now. And then of course you would know it by its cast, because this film, I mean this in the least offensive way possible, it is a compliment. This film is making the lesbians go crazy. Or the bisexuals, or the... I'm going crazy. We're all going crazy, but you know what I mean. I'm wearing the daddy shirt. You don't be mean to me, please.
I'm actually not daddy, I'm baby. Don't be mean.
But our leads, we have Kristen Stewart. I've said it once, I'll say it again. Kristen Stewart is a powerhouse of an actress. I think the last time that I officially covered her was in her performance in Spencer, which I didn't love the movie, but in terms of how she did as Princess Diana, I watched that movie not for the film, but for her performance alone. She has a larger filmography, with many other notable roles, or more infamous roles, for being honest. Alongside a gal that I'm surprised I didn't recognize her, Katie M. O'Brien. And, you know, they both killed in this movie, but fun little facts here. If we're talking about movies that I've reviewed, Quantumania, try to hold in the bile, right? But she was Gentora. But what I did recognize her from, as soon as I saw that face, is that evil, despicable, like, radio operator. I believe her character's name is Elia Kane in Mandalorian. If you've seen the episode she's in, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and you're probably just as upset as I am. She disappears into these roles, so that's a testament to her acting prowess as well. So Love Lies Bleeding. The trailer came out, and talk about a banger of a trailer, by the way. From the 80s music playing in the background, to the color schemes that you see applied in the trailer, to the dark overtones and the allusions to the thematic material that we're about to see. The trailer sold me on this film from the word go. We're in New Mexico in the late 80s, and you got a gal rolling into town. She's Katie O'Brien's character, this kind of bodybuilder with dreams of competing in Vegas, and she happens to run into Kristen Stewart, who is basically managing like a warehouse gym. But then we find out that Kristen Stewart's character's father is this like villainous, I don't know what you call him, like mob boss, local kingpin, basically helping to smuggle weapons across the border, it seems, and has definitely been responsible for at least, you know, one murder in the past. And she used to be in the family business, not so much anymore. And of course, that's gonna slowly encroach on their little love story, which then sets off the rest of the movie. As I already said, I love the aesthetic. Like, on the cusp of the 90s, and from the outfits to the vibe, there's a lot of, I want to say there's a lot of neon. There's definitely, whenever neon is used, it's used very effectively, but a lot of use of lighting, especially red, to highlight, you know, the sinister nature, especially if it's like sinister flashbacks or people. But the color scheme's great. The music, there's I don't want to say a grain to it, but whatever color correction they used, it kind of just, again, lends itself to that sort of, you know, dry, desert, but at the same time bloody feel. Like, the movie just somehow has a bloody feeling to it. There's a lot of emphasis on like the human body and skin and sweat and muscles and like building up muscles and strength and all this. There's a lot to be said there, which again, I'm sure we'll see video essays in the future that'll dig further into the deeper meanings behind that, like true strength, right? As I've already kind of alluded to, great performances overall. Our two leads absolutely kill it in their roles. Everybody that's in this movie does a great job. I have no complaints. People either give you a performance where you like them or you don't. Like but they play the despicable characters really well. And I know I keep saying this, but like the music, the soundtrack is great. Like whether it's the banner they have in the trailer or the music used throughout the entire film. I would love to look it up on Spotify and have it as some nice background music. Gore is applied very well to this movie, so much so that it doesn't overtake it, but it definitely it complements the film and it helps to kind of remind you of the time that they're in, but just adds to the aesthetic and that feel, whether it's the ethereal, steamy romance, whether it's the gritty and bloody nature of crimes being committed or the horror trying to be conveyed on screen. The music always does a good job when it's applied to kind of hammer those points home. The violence, when there is intense violence, they don't shy away from it. There's definitely blood, there's definitely some gore. I love it when a film incorporates just brutal violence. Again, I don't think it's a detraction. For me, I'm biased, right? Because me, unga bunga, big man, love fists and blood and violence. But I think for the sake of the film, it's supposed to highlight and capitalize the brutality and makes those moments all the more like darker or more meaningful. I'm pretty sure that all the effects used in this film, well, no, bodybuilding sequences notwithstanding, mostly whenever there's violence, it's done very well through the audio or through the practical makeup or the squibs or blood splattering wherever. It's great. I loved it. I can hear it now. There's going to be complaints online of this movie being
woke, feminist propaganda.
The crux of this film is Kristen Stewart and Katie O'Brien's romance. So I knew that it was going to be a good chunk of the movie, but it actually is a lot of the movie. It is a revenge film, but I think at its heart, what it's really truly driven by is love and compassion that they feel for each other and those strong, intense feelings. And in doing so, we have some very steamy sex scenes. Not full-on porn, it's all directed very tastefully, but there is a nudity, risque dialogue, to again put it conservatively. But yeah, I'm glad they didn't shy away from it, because we see so much of, guy on girl in the media, on television and film, and getting hot and heavy, and we all like just, oh yeah, that's just what it is. But then I guarantee you people are going to see that on screen, and the first thing they're going to say is like, oh,
it's disgusting. How could you show that? There's pointless. Why? There's no need to focus so much on the, no.
I appreciate, as always, the representation there. We need more media to show stuff like that. We need to normalize that kind of shit, Aside from being a story about revenge, aside from being a story, like a romance story and all of that, there's a more deeper, powerful message about the dangers of, crime, or more importantly, addiction, or the temporary highs associated with false power, where true actual strength comes from. I suppose the film is trying to say that it more often comes from what's in here, in the hot, as opposed to what you do to put in yourself or to like guard yourself, right? The men think that guns are the way to go for true strength, or even some people in the bodybuilding league think that if you inject yourself with certain chemicals or things, that was kind of what gives you that boost and that competitive advantage. But oftentimes it's about just, the more pure human form is what really, at the end of the day, matters the most. I don't know if these are more personal gripes with me or if it's flaws of the film itself. You be the judge, I suppose. I don't know if this is becoming a me problem or not lately. I don't think so, because I think it speaks to the film itself, but my last few reviews I've been saying this about the shorter films. I feel like there should be more film here. I feel like as good as the stuff is that I saw in Love Lies Bleeding, either I wanted or it needed just a bit more. Characters maybe more like for story beats, just for narrative purposes, who knows, but I wanted more, and I feel like the film, I almost don't want to say that it suffers from this, but I think it needed more development. It's already a good meal, but if they had left it in the oven a little bit longer, or put it in the broiler or something and got that extra crisp, I found myself just wanting more once it was over, which I guess is also a good thing because I liked what I saw, but I still was craving more. I was still hungry. I do factor this in because I do believe it's part of the overall experience. The marketing for a film reveals too much of what happens in the film. I think in terms of pivotal scenes that are teased in the trailer versus how many scenes are not shown in the trailer, I think the trailer shows a little bit too much, and I was able to put a little bit too much of the movie together from the trailer. Not to say that you still can't have a good time and that there's still plenty to be enjoyed on screen, that you won't still go for a ride, but personally I believe there were a couple scenes I would have liked to have not scene coming, you know, but there's still a little bit of subversion and you're still in for a good time. When it comes to the romance of the two characters in the film, I do buy it and I'm on board, and I believe that they very much care for each other, but I do feel that it's a little bit quick. This may be because I've never had one of those love at first sight moments. I get that. I'm a young man who has avoidant attachment styles, and it takes me a while to build up like trust with somebody, but to get to that level of love and trust where you would like kill for somebody and whatnot, it's not an overnight thing for yours truly. I buy the romance, but at the same time I thought it was a little bit quick. I thought it just, maybe we had a little, I guess we did have kind of some mini time jumps in the film, like very minute ones, but I feel like we needed a bit more of the romance kind of developing or cooking up. It was just kind of like oh, I see you and she sees me and we're as happy as can be now. And it's like, sure, for cinema, I get it. Up did it. The first 5 minutes of Up, I believe that romance like that. Maybe it's the way that they do it, or even with the time jumps, I believe that like pure-hearted love. With this, it's not the most stable relationship all the way through the movie anyhow, but especially when you start like counting the minutes from when they met to when they fall in love, it's a nitpick, but I just wanted more. But yeah, at the end of the day, that's really the only negative thing I can say about the film. I just wanted more of everything. I felt like there should have been more development of their romance. I wanted like a longer movie so I can get even more story, even more from the characters on screen. What's there is very good. It's very good. It's fantastic in moments, I'd say, but just leaves me hungry for more. End of the day, Love Lies Bleeding. I would be very confident in giving this a very strong, solid 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5 for Love Lies Bleeding. I do recommend it. I would love to watch it again. I'll probably buy it when it comes out. I would love to go back and watch Saint Maud. I love to see Rose Glass make more films. Love the representation. Everything about this movie speaks to aesthetics that I'm fond of, and the story's great. I loved it, and the romance is great. It's not like I didn't enjoy myself in the film, but at the same time, that's its own fatal flaw in my eyes, is that it just needed to do more of what was already making it so good. I did think it was funny, by the way. We went to go see it opening weekend, but there was this gaggle of girls, is the only way I can describe them, that were sitting behind us. Anytime there was a sexual scene, like, they were just giggling, which it's like, come on, like, it's like, you gotta have some decorum and be acted up in the theater. Like, sure, we're all thinking the same thing, but we're not like,
gee, she's putting fingers in her hoo-ha.
It's like kids are surprised there's sex and violence in their films these days. Like, thank you guys and gals so much for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode of whatever movie I review. For Miss O'Brien here, good, do the, and then the flex, and then you gotta like, confident, forward-facing. Adonis, what's the Adonis thing or whatever? There we go. Goodbye. I don't know, is that Adonis? Bye. Have a good night.